Welcome to Streaming Better. I am Pastor Dennis Cummins with Experience Church. This is my son,
Daryl Cummins. I'm the media director here at Experience Church.
And
let's keep going because that's just part of life. Because what's going to happen is in live production, you are going to make mistakes.
That's right.
And this is a little added bonus feature right here.
The show keeps going.
Okay, we have made a lot of mistakes.
Tons.
Accidentally. It's called a mistake for a reason. And really, I just tell my guys, laugh it off.
Bad cut, bad push.
Somebody played the wrong music key or the wrong track. What do? You just laugh it off because that's life. But that's the beauty of it because it shows that it's live. It's not in the can, meaning previously recorded and edited. People like live, authentic, and so mistakes can actually be a good thing.
So in today's episode, we're actually going to be talking about how to push through when things go bad. Because things are they're going to go bad.
Yeah.
They're going to go wrong. But at the end of the day, are you going to quit or are you going to move on? So don't forget, I just want to say thank you for liking, subscribing, hit that reminder button. And we want to know your thoughts today about some of your train wrecks. All right, tell us about some of your train wrecks. Maybe the mic was on and somebody was peeing in the bathroom. I mean, this stuff happens all the time.
We've had our fair
it's
share
crazy.
of them. Yeah.
So mistakes, challenges, some things. Now, I just want you to know that we have a culture here that we allow people to make mistakes if it helps them learn.
Yeah.
Okay?
Now, we don't tolerate bad behavior, though.
No, I mean, if it's something that's just going to be a chronic issue, we have to deal with it.
Yeah.
There's a great book called Executive Decision, and in that book, they said, it's not what you preach, it's what you tolerate. And a lot of mistakes can be dealt with, and you can overcome those if they're chronic because you're not going to tolerate them. You can get up before your team on your pre-team meeting on that Sunday, and you can say, "Hey guys, we're it's important to be on time. It's important to pay attention." Da da da. But if you're not correcting those issues the moment that they happen, you are tolerating them, and you're keeping that culture going on. I'll give you an example. I have a Belgian Malinois dog, and when he does something wrong, if I don't catch him in the moment and discipline him in the moment, then I've missed the opportunity.
Yeah.
And so I'll come downstairs and let's say he got into the garbage, 20 minutes ago or even 5 minutes ago, and now he's laying on his bed, and my wife's like, "Honey, you need to correct him." Guess what? I missed the opportunity because I didn't take care of it the moment that it happened. Now, obviously, if you're shooting and directing a live program, you can't sit down, but afterwards. In other words, the first moment that you have to be able to sit down with somebody, let's say they walked in late for a meeting and it's a chronic person that's late, okay? They're chronically late, not just one time. Immediately after you have your team meeting, you should have a sidebar with that person and say, "Hey, what's going on? You know that this isn't the atmosphere." I mean, you have to step up as a leader and help them understand the moment that it happens, you're not going to tolerate that.
Exactly.
In other words, that's going to get into your team. And it's going to degrade the why and your mission and the whole purpose behind what you're doing.
Yeah.
Okay? So we're going to create a culture where mistakes can happen. It's okay to make mistakes as long as we learn from them.
Exactly. What was happening a while back for us, we say, "Hey, look, show up at 8:30 because that's when sound check starts, be at your camera and test things." And people would do that, and then it kind of started to linger off. And then what happened was there was one Sunday where crap hit the fan, and stuff like that happens. Live stream goes down, blah, blah, blah. Computer quits working. It updates. What do you do? And so what happened was there was some stuff that didn't get checked properly. Mics didn't get turned on because, for example, what we do is we do a live hosting segment with our online congregation. And what happened was their microphones ran out, didn't get tested. And what happened was there was a mic cable that went bad. And so because nobody tested it, even though people were here and talking, that was an egg on our face. Now, what I did is, because we have two services, before each service, we sit down, we go over the orders service, what's going on with the music, are there any videos, any changes, things like that. So we know what's going on. So being prepared. But I said, guys, look, this morning sucked. And I said, we cannot allow being here at 8:45 or whenever, or being here at 8:30 and not doing anything. And I said, I need everybody to be here at 8:30 because we all have a heart for the vision. We all are supporting what we do, and we all know better. And as soon as I said that, one of the guys on my team piped up and he said, you know what, I want to say thank you for that because you're right. We all need to be here. And so sometimes people, they just forget. So if you're a team leader, don't get angry right away. You know, if this is like the 5th conversation that you've had, okay, I could understand that. But at the same time, be gracious because a lot of times people, they just don't know or they forget.
People will value what you value.
Exactly.
And if you value people being on time, doing their job, blah, 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 guess what? They will value it. So first of all, don't tolerate ongoing bad behavior.
Yeah.
Deal with it
Yeah.
in a professional manner, in a loving manner, but deal with it. Number
Yeah.
2, create a culture where people can make mistakes. Talk about how, oh yeah, this happened today, and don't throw anybody under the bus. If you're a pastor and you're watching this and you call the sound man out in front of everybody because he missed a mute or an unmute or he didn't do a push or something like that, you've embarrassed him in front of everybody. You do not have the right to do that unless the sound man can do the same to you the next time you slip up on a scripture or a story or something. I mean, we have to create a culture of honor and respect that it's okay to make mistakes as long as we learn from them, okay? And then we can mitigate mistakes by being prepared. It's better to prepare and prevent than to repair and repent. I'm gonna say it again. It's better to prepare and prevent than to repair and repent. So what that means is pre-team meetings, you should be going through everything. Everything should be on. Everything should be checked, tested, and ready to go.
Exactly. Yeah, so what that looks like for us, because it's one thing to say it, but it's another thing to see how it works. So what that looks like is we've got cameras that need to be turned on and set up, unlocked. Things need to be tested like intercom. We have our live segment that we need to make sure works. So lights are working, microphones work, cameras framed. We make sure that everybody has their order of service. And during our pre-team meeting,
I'm going to interrupt right now because I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about. We have 2 cameramen here. They're sitting on the floor on their phones when they should be taking the second camera and pointing it at Daryl while he's speaking. And because that's not happening, I could just pretend and not do nothing, or I could address it to make sure it doesn't happen again. So whether this was planned or not, none of your business. But this is the reality by which we improve, okay? This is how we improve. We deal with things in the moment that we can do it, and this is just a good example.
So we've got our order of services, and then when there are issues like things that aren't happening properly, what we do is we either have a sidebar or we address it as a team depending on the scale of it. If it's a one-person thing, pull them aside, talk to them. I've had issues with people inside of the team, and that's where I can't deal with them as a group. I've got to deal with them individually. And then there are instances where for example, last couple of weeks, we've had internet streaming issues. And so what we had to do is we had to come together as a team. We had to address it, and we prayed against it. We prayed for it because the devil attacks where will like to attack you where you're making momentum at. And so for us, that's online. And so, man, we just started seeing week after week issues and random issues. And so as a team, instead of just saying, oh, well, whatever, we'll call Comcast and our net gear and blah, blah, blah. We said, look, we know this is natural because there were things that need to be fixed. But at the same time, we also know this is spiritual. And so we addressed it spiritually. We prayed together as a team. We stood against it. But at the same time, we also did things in the natural as well. And that's why when you're working with a team, you can't just address the mechanical. You have to take into account the person. I had one person on my team. They were just going through a rough season of life. They were showing up late, weren't focused on camera, things like that. And I sat him down and I said, hey, look, how are things going? Because you could tell when somebody was having an issue. And he's like, things are going kind of rough and blah, blah, blah. And I said, okay, well, let's just take some time and just, take a month or two, just take some time off and then come back. And when they came back, they're like, that was exactly what I needed.
Yep.
Thank you. So one of the things is, prepare and prevent, give people time off.
Yeah.
Don't run them to the ground. There are seasons where things are tight.
Yeah.
We came out of one a little while ago where we just had some of my key people on my team weren't able to serve, and so it was like, okay, some of us, we're just gonna have to pray about this, believe God for some additional people, because one of the things in preparing is knowing that, okay, we need more people to make sure that this doesn't happen again, while at the same time understanding that, hey, these people needed some time off. And so that's just part of preparing, preventing. There's the mechanical side, and then there's the people side of things.
Yeah, I got to share one of my nightmare stories. So I didn't find out about this until about a year later, but I had an employee that was overseeing live stream. This was many years before Daryl. And I found out that he was up in the director's room and he was directing for camera and all that. And another gentleman walked in and looked at the live streaming computer and said, hey, you're not live streaming. And the director says, oh, it doesn't matter. Nobody watches anyways. Okay,
nice.
So do I just overlook that or do I deal with it? Well, obviously we dealt with it and we're here today still moving ahead.
Yeah.
You are going to have bumps in the road, and sometimes you have to realize maybe you just have somebody that's not the right person, and they're not the right fit on the team or in their position. It's okay to move people around. Yeah. It's all right. Sometimes these areas aren't the best for everybody. So
this is you
got to be very selective.
Yeah, one of the things, because I've done live production at our church and then outside as well. This is a very, I don't want to say stressful, like, you're pulling your hair out. Yes, it's very intense. And I usually tell people who it's their first time on camera live, bring a second shirt to change into, just because of how intense it is their first time. Now, me, because I've done this for years, I can get on camera, and I don't recommend this, but just out of comfort, and I can just run camera, no problem, just kind of do it mindlessly, but at the same time focus, because to me, it's just part of who I am now.
It's like a brand new licensed driver, even though they have a license to drive. It's like a brand new driver versus someone that's been driving for 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
You're not as engaged and looking at everything because it's already a part of your second nature, your subconscious. You know exactly what's going on when you're operating camera versus that first time and you got people talking in your ears and maybe it's comedy hour on the comms. These are things that you got to deal with.
Yeah.
And so we're going to have an episode just on comms and what do you do with comms and what do you talk about? What's the language on there and what have you. So I hope that this has helped you understand that mistakes are okay as long as we're not enabling people to live in those mistakes over and over reoccurring. It's good to identify things and make sure that we're not enabling people, that we're not tolerating those things, but we deal with them in the moment as soon as it's possible and appropriate to do. So we're not embarrassing people or calling people out, okay? Because we need to be a culture of honor. That's a big part of who we are here at Experience. And so just a lot of different things. Tell us a little bit about your experiences, and we so appreciate your feedback, and we're going to see you in the next episode at Stream Better.